Ja, herzlich willkommen. Wir sind hier. Ups, das war das erste Mikro. Nee, da sitze ich, Peter. If you want to sit. Ah, er sitzt doch auf dem Sofa. Okay, Bernadette.
Ja, genau. Okay.
So, wait. Oh, yes. Okay, ich sag schon mal an die Webcam Hallo.
Hallo.
Sabria, David,
Hallo.
wir fangen jetzt allmählich an. Sie werden jetzt Zeuge der Salonvorbereitungen, weil ja alles ein Work in Progress ist, so auch das. Also, ich habe hier Tee. Möchte jemand Tee?
Oh ja,
So, okay. Ich nehme mir einen Tee. Ich habe ja eine kleine Assistentin, die mir den Tee anreicht. Voilà. So, also herzlich willkommen zu dem Salon des deutschen Länderzirkels des Projektes Streaming Egos. Wir haben schon...
Anker des Salons Deutsch oder ist es Englisch?
Ja, wir hatten gesagt, wir machen das Englisch, aber wir können es vielleicht, schaffen wir es.
Aber ich fürchte, dass dann, wenn wir es jetzt Deutsch machen, dann verlieren wir auf alle Fälle Teile unserer
Gäste.
Who speaks German? Who speaks German? Okay.
Who speaks German?
Oh, better, who doesn't speak German?
Who doesn't speak German? Oh, okay, half and half. So
yes.
we will talk half and half, Bernadette.
Yeah. Okay, yes.
Okay, so we have double roles. Maybe you introduce the salon, and I will we do, and I will introduce you as salon guest.
Yes,
okay?
I think everybody. So yeah, we have to definitely meet Peter. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes, but everybody else I think has been introduced except for you, Sabria, and now I will tell everybody your background. Sabria is media researcher and co-founder of the Slow Media Institute, an interdisciplinary research and consulting center that focuses on the digital change and its impact on society. Together with sociologist Benedikt Köhler and market researcher Jörg Blumtritt, she co-authored the Slow Media Manifesto in 2012. Which has been translated into several languages and became an object of media research worldwide, as well as the Declaration of Liquid Culture in 2010. She developed the Interaktionsmodell digitaler Arbeitsschutz, a prevention and consultancy concept and management system for workplace health, and together with the certification organization TÜV Rheinland, a standard for workplaces in digital environments. Since 2014, Sabria is also a member of the board of Wikimedia Deutschland and obviously the German country organization behind Wikipedia. She is doing research on the phenomena of media change and holding workshops, including this one here, the Salon Digital, as the last event in today's transnational exhibits on streaming egos. And now I will have Sabria introduce our other guest for the Salon.
Yes, thank you, Bernadette. We are the Salon. The Salon was meant to be traditional salon with only real guests. And as always in life, something always changed. You have to constantly keep on improvising. This is what we do. The members of the German circle, Dirk von Gehlen, he couldn't come today. And also, unfortunately, Enno Park. Say hello, Enno Park.
Hello.
We have him here at the left side. He got ill from a flu yesterday, so we decided to do not a traditional salon, but to do a salon, yes, a post-digital salon, mixed with real people and with the cyborg people. So Enno is a member of the German country circle. He is known as a cyborg, because he, yes, maybe you tell a bit yourself, Enno, why you call yourself a cyborg.
Well, a cyborg is most common human being with technology inside his body, and that is what happened to me when I got cochlear implants, an artificial electronic hearing that provided a normal hearing after 20 years of being nearly deaf. And after that, I simply started to think about what it makes to me and to other people being attached to technology. And this is partly what the Cyborg Society we founded is about.
Okay. So we are happy to have you here in the cyborg digital way. And we say hello to Martina Pickert. Martina Pickert
Hi.
from Hamburg. Unfortunately, got a food poisoning, so how life changes. I hope you get well soon, both of you. Martina is member of the German Country Circle. She is an internet entrepreneur and now works at Microsoft Innovation and Strategy and is looking for the next big things in cyber world. Could you a bit say, Martina, what your approach is to digital identities?
I mean, it's a huge approach. Hello, everybody. Good evening.
Good evening.
There are several aspects of a digital identity. I mean, you can see it as part of every digital entity and like an object or a person or something which is the being part of an artificial intelligence, maybe. That's maybe a topic we could discuss. But there are also devices like, when I think about Microsoft devices, the new HoloLens, which is coming this year to the market. And one question, of course, is how does a device like a HoloLens, where you or the Oculus Rift, where you have an immersive experience, how does it impact your identity?
Yes. Thank you, Martina. Yes, and the next person I want to introduce is Dr. Peter Gossens. He is a scholar in comparative literature. He wrote his habilitation on the term world literature in the 19th century, so he's very well on that sofa from the 19th century. Peter, you said you're not at all digital. I don't know why you ask me.
Genau, I'm the analog one, like
yes.
Jürgen Klopp said.
He's the analog one, and we are very glad to have analog ones also. I interviewed Peter already on the Goethe Salon.de, and we were talking on what Goethe's, he is behind you, by the way. Goethe, he comes from the Düsseldorf Schauspielhaus. Thanks a lot to the Düsseldorfer Schauspielhaus. And we were talking on how digital, not digital of course, but transnational dialogue have worked to Goethe's time. Maybe you want to say two words to that.
I'm interested in the historical dimensions of communication between nations, persons, identities, and I start my studies in the 18th century with Herder, Goethe, Lessing, these old guys in Germany, and I wrote about the term world literature as a communication model, not as a canon of text like today. It's a normal term today, but I think it's a form of communication that is usually performed in the 19th century in the salon, and I think that was the reason why we talk about Goethe and this points.
This is the reason why we sit here. And the second live, real life guest is Bernadette Wegenstein, Professor Bernadette Wegenstein. She's a professor for media studies at Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore, and she's also independent filmmaker, so she's theorist and artist, and she has been moderating the whole day. And Bernadette, what do you think of maybe of communication as basis of internationality, or what are the most astonishing things you saw today? Maybe we start a bit pragmatic and get abstract later.
I think, first of all, what I really liked what I think was first yours, and maybe even in the Portuguese discourse, I heard people say screaming instead of screaming, because it happens. And I like this a lot, because I think that these egos are also screaming, and they're, saying something. What they're really saying, I think it's too soon for me to summarize. I will be happy tomorrow, to kind of consider the common threads and themes. But I also listened into your YouTube interview that you put on YouTube with Peter, and I found it fascinating what he said about Weltliteratur and about, I think, the human desire to connect, which is certainly not reserved to the digital age. And I think we, as in our as non-artists, but as academics and as historians and as theorists, we're asking the question always: is this new? Is this inherent to this medium that we're applying, or is this something inherently human that we're trying to understand? And I think that is a question. Those are questions that are really of philosophical nature, and are questions that we've been asking ourselves ever since there is, humanity. But I do think that one thing I want to say is that these questions of identity that are, of course, represented in all of the exhibitions, and are questions that are the ones of the question of the origin, and whether there can be something like a certainty about origin. And what do we do with this uncertainty? And I think essentially it's a very unsettling question, which is why identity is never something firm, something graspable, but something always in movement. And so I would say my question right to Peter is then, how would you define the Identitätsbegriff, in Goethe's time, the notion of identity, and how does that have anything to do with the fact that identities were exchanged and communicated at that time?
It's difficult. It's a different concept of identity than today, because today we have in the cultural history, we have a concept of translation, of identity as métissage, as Mischung from identities, of emigration, of discourses who are made by internet, by very fast communication in the internet, by email, by telephone, by these things. And Goethe has an own concept. He was the chief, I will say, in Weimar. He was unique in the German world, in the European culture. He was the center of European culture at this time. He has a very strong ego, and the other identities came to Goethe and wants to talk with him, and he is the one who made the culture in this time. If you will see the center at Goethe, there are other centers in the same time, but Goethe is a very important center. And this identity can, I don't know the word, my English is very, very bad, steuern, can direct the communication in the whole Europe. This is another point than today. Today we are many identities who are connected to talk with each other, and Goethe is the center who talks with other people, who comes to him, who writes to him, and this all things. It's a totally different model, but they are at the same time the models of translation, That's direct communication between cultures and other languages who are very important in this time. This is a time of this century of translation. It's a time from 1977, also 1770, at the end of the 18th century to the beginning of the 19th century. There are many translations, and there are many people who are interested at other cultures and on this way on other identities in other languages and nations. I think that's similar to today. We want to talk with other people. We want to communicate with other people, with other cultures, and other nations, or cross the borders to other nations. And that's I think the similar problem like today in the Goethe time.
Yes, and that leads to a fundamental question I wanted to ask is how can we make our discourses transnational? Not only digital, also maybe we can use other forms of performances, music. What do you think, Enno, for example? There you are. How do you think we can make discourses transnational, or which are the gaps where we have to build bridges, and which kind of bridges?
Well, it's obviously about language and about cultural rooms. I think identities, in first definition, who you are, but also how others see you and how you see yourself. And I think so identity is in flow. It changes from time to time, from role to role we play in everyday life. And now we have the perfect metaphor. We planned a classical salon, and now we don't have one. We wanted to do it in German, and now we do it in English, so others can take part, and nobody will see if you are German or what cultural room you come from. It is completely masked, or it would be completely masked if we did classical salon. I think a problem is my English is as bad as Peter's. Erwartungen. Can you help me with Erwartungen? Expectations, yes.
Yeah.
I think how we communicate, how our identity is linked together with the expectations we have from each others. And they differ widely between different cultures, between different countries. And this media is like being in a salon or like being linked to it in this video chat could make this different expectations visible to us.
Yes, what we see is in what we do, we see already two bridges. We see that language should be a bridge. We have to talk in a bridge language, English in that case. And to get you to our discussion, Martina and Enno, we need digital media. And yes, that are already two bridges that we use, and we also see that the bridges are sometimes a bit weak, the technique with understanding. And Martina, what do you think could make our discourse transnational? What would we have to think of to do it?
Yeah, I mean, language, of course, is the main thing. I was thinking about the future of translation. We will see a lot of new tools and software which will translate in real time between several languages. This is one part which would really help. The second is that not only language is I call it device for communication. It's also, and we see it right now in the internet, about pictures, images, and about video, like or let's say it more like, for example, a classical theater play works in different cultures regardless of the language. So the reception of somebody who is watching a theater play in Madrid or in Hanover or in Hamburg, I'm quite sure that everybody has the same reception of the theater play. So acting, for example, is of course something which is above a language level. Maybe not in every cultural setting, of course, because gesture, for example, is something, or a special gesture could mean something really different in another context and in another culture.
Yes, we already thought of in the second phase, when we come to the transnational thematic discourses, to include things like acting, like dance, like music maybe, and also what Enno said, metaphors. I think metaphors also can be bridges, as you said, the salon as a metaphor for getting together and talk together. Peter, what I loved with a Goethe interview was the term Freibriefrecht. I don't know, Bernadette, how you would translate Freibriefrecht.
A gratuitous way of communicating. I mean, what I understood is that the family Thun und Taxis sponsored the delivery of letters to Goethe and the sending of letters for free because they wanted to accelerate and help the exchange of communication. And so I wouldn't know exactly Freibrief economy, how to translate.
Internet for free.
Yes, but yeah, exactly. Sign up for free.
Freifunk for everyone.
Yeah.
Not 70 cents for one letter, nothing.
Yes.
Also for the letters who are receiving Goethe. Yes. You mustn't pay for this letter. You write Goethe for free. Yeah. It's a very good form of communication. Yes, so Goethe could write to everything in whole Europe and talk with him like, via letters, and it's a free communication for him. It's very practical.
Yes, and reverse also. I think that's interesting. That is something that gets revived by digital culture, that you don't only send, but you exchange communication. That's interesting. Yes, by the way.
Also for young people, this WhatsApp. It's a free communication.
Yes.
5 years ago, my niece had 1,000 SMS in the month. It cost much of money.
Yes.
And my son today has, I don't know how much, 3,000 WhatsApp texts every day, and it's got nothing. It's a flat rate for internet and nothing
attention.
More. Yeah, attention.
It doesn't cost money, but it costs attention. Yes, I think it's the new thing we have to consider. What with the costs of communication, it's also it needs place in your. If you have 1,000 SMS or WhatsApps, they cost you attention. That comes because it's for free. It doesn't cost. Yes. If maybe you want to talk again, I have brought, because we are thinking of the strong metaphors, Enno, as you said, the salon culture. Of course, I brought some Teg back to let the metaphor be really strong. I decided Madeleines, yes, because we think of Marcel Proust. Maybe while I prepare this, you can say a bit to Proust and the Madeleines. A strong
I must
metaphor.
say something about Proust. Yeah.
Yes, if you want.
I read the whole Proust. Yeah. Do you read the whole Proust? No, the first part. The story with the Madeleines and the, I don't know, Lindenblütentee. That's the point.
We have tea.
Where we begin the memory for Proust. It's a very interesting book, but you must read the whole 4,000 sides. It's a very interesting thing. For my students, I said every
Delayed
time,
gratification,
it's like marathon.
Say.
It's like marathon running. Proust reading is like marathon running, and that's.
And then you start from again.
Same thing.
From front. Then I have something Italian. It says, yeah, Italian, you can say it.
Tarallegri,
Please, I have here the etagere, you can,
Okay.
and then I have something Spanish, estrellas de, I can't say it. So, everyone, except I didn't find something from Portugal, but I found Mutzemandeln, that's not only German, it's Rheinländisch, because we are in the Rhineland, so, and as we have gratification here, we have also a place free for someone from the audience, if someone wants to join the discussion. Does anyone want some cookies? No. As we are with strong metaphors, cooking, of course, also is a strong metaphor for the France pavilion cookies who are working against the cookies and the data. So, okay.
I really like the Madeleine's remembering of Marcel Proust.
We are so sorry that
Marcel Proust again is a really good metaphor. His whole literature work is about remembering things in every detail he was able to, and I think isn't the internet just the same for us? Remembering machine. Everything we do on the internet, we say on the internet, is saved and can be replayed to. And I think it might connect a little.
Okay.
What do you say? I don't know whether you understood. Enno said that the internet is a machine for memorying and connecting things and life.
Yeah, I think in comparing to Proust, it's the other kind of memory in the internet. Proust has a form of memoir involontaire, unwillkürliche Erinnerung, and he wants to find a point where his actual experiences and the memory goes inside. And the internet is like an archive, I think, for me, more an archive than the memoir.
He's nodding. I say because you look at me, you don't see
okay,
Enno.
I don't. Yeah,
that's
I'm the center, but I see the public.
But he's nodding. That's why I'm mirroring.
Yeah. Okay.
So
okay. And this is a different kind of memory, I think, between Proust and the internet. An archive function like a bibliothek or something other, and Proust is a personal form of memory.
So Enno,
I don't know. How about perhaps?
Do you think is it Enno? Were you nodding for saying yes? You also see it's a different kind of memory, or?
Yeah, I think Peter is completely right. I think I didn't read Proust. I didn't read Proust completely. I think it is a real big German journey to do so. And you're right when you say something is an archive and the other thing is memorizing things. And without having an answer by now, I think it would be really nice to compare both outcomes.
Pardon, could you repeat the last bit?
I can't hear you very good because I'm behind the sound.
I think it would be nice when those are two different things of memory. Like you say, archive is the internet and memorizing things is Proust. And I think it would be a very nice project to compare the outcomes of both methods.
I think there is a link between both, and yes, I agree with Enno that the internet is partly an archive, but seeing when you are on Facebook and getting more than thousands or 10,000s of comments and remarks to a post, I think this is taking the way to your personal memory as well, and it's different to the time when Goethe lived or Proust, and this is a linkage. I mean, Goethe never received 1,000 or 10,000 commands on his books. There was only one person or a few persons translating all his literature and having discussions with him. And nowadays, you can have a discussion with nearly the whole world. And this is getting really fast in your in your personal memory, and this is one challenge we all facing, because I think this is also having an impact on our identity as a culture and in person.
Yes, individual and collective. What do you think, Peter? You are nodding?
Okay, might be right for the personal identity, with the great communication, the great possibility to communicate with other persons, transnational. I think there are other models of memory in the cultural history. For example, the ars memoratoria in the Renaissance, where you have the concept of a room with many pictures and ideas who are concentrated in one room. And that's, for me, more similar to the internet than the Proust memory thing. But I'm very convinced about this personal form.
Yes.
This could be very near.
Yeah. Bernadette?
I can't really speak about Proust too much because I, as Enno, haven't done my homework. I'm not German, but I still, I mean, of course I've read some of it, but I would really be in no position to generalize. But what I can say from my experience in looking at especially new media art is that the internet is a very personal and personalized space, and it's a space that I think, as we've seen here in these exhibits, you know, opens up this question of multiple selves and a collective personalized space and the encounter with the unknown other. But the question is just, whose point of view are we experiencing? And I think we were just actually together, Peter, talking to the Italian artists and their ghostwriting autobiographical machine. And the question there, I think, arose of, you know, who is this ghostwriter writing their stories? And if there's no author detectable, is it even someone, quote unquote, who is authorized to speak about the self, you know? But I do find that these themes are represented in internet exchanges as much as they were in the 19th century in the so-called Weltliteratur. So in a way, my question to you as a literature theorist would really be, what is the difference, in your opinion, of the narrative quality of these texts in terms of text, you know? What is the difference between literature and a Facebook post?
I can answer to that.
Yeah,
No, I think the main difference that comes to me is that literature is literal and a Facebook post is oral. Is more oral than literature. But this is he says no.
I think there's only a changing of the medium. I was it was very nice. It's a project of the Italians. It's very a great thing that as a computer writes, is a ghostwriter who writes a new story about your life. You count, collect your data from Facebook, from the whole day, your whole digital day, and then he writes a new story. It's their own story, their own words, other words, and it's a diary, like a diary. Yeah. And that you can find also in the 18th and 19th century in the brief roman, as letter romances, or diaries. It's a very great culture of diary literature in the 19th and 20th century, and that's the same. It's only changed only the medium. There are in the new literature you can find 10 years ago you can find SMS novels. And you will find Facebook novels in a few times. It's only a question of time that will become a Facebook novel. Yeah.
Yes, but the fluidity and the reactability increases. And if you look very close, you see that inside printed literature, this has been there before. But I wanted to say again something to what we had before, whether a memory like in Proust's Madeleine and the Lindenblütentee and the internet is similar or not. You said internet is an archive and it's not similar, but what I was thinking of is that memes memes, also die Meme, this is a kind of internet, also digital culture memory, memorizing, but memorizing emotionally. A cat video or a hashtag that you use is a kind of social connection memory. So if you use and reuse a meme, you remember being together with other people, and that's very emotional. So maybe we have also inside the internet, we have a rational memory in terms of archives, and you also have emotional memories in terms of memes and things you remember having experienced with people.
I don't know, because I don't have this experience.
Yeah, you're the analog one.
We are only one who have no Facebook and Twitter account and these things. I have no cellular, nothing.
Yes,
Yeah.
but maybe we can say that the internet meme is the Madeleine of the internet. Oh,
Okay.
Enno laughing.
Yeah. I don't have an answer to that, but to something else Peter said, if I'm allowed, but I don't want to break to that.
Yeah. Okay, we lost the point because I started again with a memory. We have been before. Where did we were before when I said I want to come back to the memory? It's my fault. The conversation stops. Help me.
I can say something to that. I think. I mean, I can only say really what we experienced all today here in these exhibits, and that is apparently that the process of writing
literature
produces memory, a memory shared. And so, for instance, Monopero has been writing all day. And why is he writing? Because he's writing his existence into this internet stratospheres building that we have here. And so I think that in all of these projects, even the Portuguese, the French, they're all rewriting and writing. That's really one of these things that I noticed. Everybody has been writing. And so my question then for you, again, as the expert really on, I mean, why do we write?
Why do we write?
Yeah, what is it? I mean, what...
no, sorry. No, I know it.
Okay, but I don't. It's a form of expression. One form you can make a picture is another form of expression. You can dance, you can sing. It's other forms, but we must do something to be in the world with some words, with a picture, with something. If we don't do that, we are alone at home and have no communication. But if we write a text or make a concept for art, for something, we can communicate with other people because we go out our home, our room, and try to communicate with other people. We write literature essay, scholar essays for nothing, for 100 readers or 10 readers. I don't know how much read my book or our books, but you can write this, you can write a novel for 1 million readers, but you will communicate with other people, I think.
Do you write for somebody?
What?
Do you write for somebody in every case? Or do you write for yourself, or for what reason?
Can you repeat, Martina? I didn't hear you.
Yeah, my question was, he's saying that he's writing for 100 people, or a novelist maybe write for 1 million people. So my question is, for what are you writing? Are you writing for an audience, or are you writing for memory, or for yourself, or for what?
I'm writing for my job normally, but I'm writing for science, to earn
money, yeah, to spend your life.
But and I write emails the whole day with my students and for my job, and I personally write not for myself. I don't write poems or diary.
Diary, why not?
No.
I haven't read your diary.
I don't like diaries for me.
So there are a lot of reasons that was my point. I mean, there are a lot of reasons why somebody is writing something.
Yes, there are a lot of reasons. Everybody must express itself. Also, you must find your way to express yourself, and my way is the science, and other people write novels or poems or make a picture. It's an individual way to express yourself.
So we have Enno?
Yeah, I think there are 2 points, but we have the point that you can communicate with more people when you write. But I think there's also another point to it. It's the archive again. You can read later what you've written. You can stay, you can keep parts of your identity even after your death and conserve this. And I think coming back to Marcel Proust, memorizing like Proust is a little bit like stating your own identity. And the Internet Archive, things you read on Facebook and so, confronts this identity you make up of your own with your thoughts, with some facts you maybe have forgotten. And I think this clash, this mismatch, could be very interesting to look further into, not having an answer by now.
Yes, that means maybe we are writing for memory. That's an interesting question, whether we write for memory, for being memorized. That also means for being there, for to give a Zeugnis, a proof, a testimony that you are there. It's like the selfie to say, look, I'm here. This is the proof that I'm alive, and we are there with a self-expression, and that means also you have to constantly rewriting yourself. That is what we saw in all the local circus, forms of rewriting your self-identity, or to hide your identity, the data, to hide you, to own your own self-narration. Bernadette, that was what we were talking about, that it's a lot of the approaches to digital identities we see in streaming egos are about self-narration. That's interesting that we come back to self-narration via Madeleine's and Proust.
Is this a question for me? Or?
It's an invitation, an invitation to add thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I think that obviously when you say leaving a trace, for instance, graffiti art has been certainly compared to, or better, Facebook has appropriated the wall for themselves so that people can post and can be, so to speak, graffiti artists leaving messages for others. So that's no news that those internet platforms have been repurposing ancient methods of leaving traces and of communicating with each other. And as for the self-narration, I think what really fascinates me most in all the themes that I have seen here is the emphasis on the uncertainty and on the fragility, the hybrid nature of this self. And for instance, the question then that arises from a national project, as in the Portuguese, you know, then, well, if everything is so uncertain, you know, what is a country? Or, you know, what is a national identity? And how does that uncertainty and fragility translate on the internet? And I think it's really, if we were all depressed Viennese, we would have to be very sad in a way to see that there is so much uncertainty and so many questions, and nothing seems to really stop and say, okay, you know, here is a firm origin, you can actually stand here. Nobody gives us this feeling. So it seems that the self that narrates itself in the digital age is very insecure, and it's very doubtful of itself. I mean, that's what I can say from outside.
Yes, but it's the question whether digital media make it insecure or just show how insecure identity is. And we have both aspects that are also important for the Streaming Egos project. The self-narration, the oscillating between the individual aspect and the collective. And that's very, very, very close and very linked together, because we had self-narration. I write to prove myself, in terms of self-narration being there. And what you said is rewriting also a national identity, like in the Portuguese pavilion. So you always have a very insecure, fluid process of finding your identity. Also in the Belgian local circle, there was said that the Belgian identity is a lack of identity. So we have the rewriting yourself as person, but also rewriting a national identity. And that are similar processes, but that are also different, similar and different.
Of course, I don't know that we want to go there, certainly not at this time after 12 hours of, but from a psychoanalytic point of view, of course, the lack is the very proof of the existence. So to point to the absence means that, you can make that identity shine through, and I think that's something that I certainly saw happening in many of these installations and art pieces, is to point precisely to the question of the origin and to the lack, to the absence.
Yes, and that makes it very original and individual, the way your strategies to approach with the lack and the uncertainty. That also makes it's strong inside a weakness. Yes, we are almost. Peter.
Yeah, the nation is a concept of the end of the 19th century. It's a very great problem in the internet times, in our times now, and we can see it every day. If you look at Europe, the political discussions today, the great problem is the question of nation. And in the internet, you find other spaces to localize your identity. You find transnational spaces where you can go individually with other people in other countries and talk with them about your problems. But these problems are not problems of nationality. These problems are individual problems or peer group problems or whatever. Yeah, and that's a great possibility of the internet. One of the great points. Half year ago, I read a book from India about translation, and I was very impressed because they wrote Europe is a great phenomenon for the Indian people because their processes of translation and Austausch, exchange are a very good model for other nations with this language problems like Europe. We have 27 different languages, yes. And in Strasbourg and in Brussels, there are many translators who communicate in these 27 languages, and that's a model for India, for other cultures, and that's for me very interesting.
They also have to find bridges.
Yeah, in Europe you find, for them, we have found bridges in Europe to talk, to communicate between nations, between cultures and individuals. And in Europe, we don't see this great possibilities we have in this space. And that's very, very interesting for me.
Maybe as European we are used, or maybe as German we are used to look to the things that doesn't work. And maybe it would be good also to see what works and where we already built bridges. Yes?
For us, the bridge with the Italians was Italian language. Because it was much easier than every other language.
Both talking Italian in the Italian pavilion.
And so we can see how great is the project. It was some pictures, and I thought, okay, media and algorithms and digitality and identity, okay, but they show us and explain us the project. It was very interesting, and it was new literature, and it was really new literature, but we must talk in Italian. That was a bridge for us, yeah.
Yes, so we have to go on building bridges. Maybe as we come indeed to the end of our strong metaphor salon, real life salon, also digital salon with a digital cyborg guests. Maybe a last question. What do you wish or would like to see or to go on working with in the second part of the project, Streaming Egos, Digital Identities, where we have transnational discourses and a thematic approach? What would you, want to be worked on or dealt with?
I'm really sorry, I can't tell by now, because I have to think about several things. Maybe you've seen that I've taken down a lot of notes, and there will be a blog post following up based on this talk, and I will rewatch it, because I have several thoughts and ideas I can't express like they should right now. But to give you one piece of thought, which direction I would like is, you remember Socrates, who said, I know that I don't know anything, and I think we should take a new part to it. We also don't know who we are.
Okay. Thank you, Enno. Martina,
Yeah.
do you have things coming on the horizon?
I cannot say it in detail right now as Enno, but my thoughts are around going further.
Pardon?
Going further, like meaning.
Going further.
What does it mean in the future to have a nation of artificial intelligence? And will there be something like an artificial identity? And can software generate memories out of itself? So these are the things I'm like want to work on.
Yes, it's such a pity you couldn't have been there, you both, because so many local projects that address these things. Maybe it's good we have the live streams. We can reread and rewrite it, and tomorrow we will find a way to extract the important things. Peter, what would you say as a scholar and academic, or
for me, it's very interesting that you want to test the forms of communication, also live communication in the internet. It's for me a new experience. I don't know it, and you try several forms: the writing form, the live form, and that's very interesting. How will you communicate in 10 years for normal? I think we didn't write anymore. We talk much more in the internet and the.
Yeah, that's the mixture of literality and orality, and also we try to how can we include people who are not physically present into a discussion. That's what we are looking. Bernadette, do you have?
Well, I mean, I can't really say it, but I would say the one thing that I'm interested in is to, thinking further about storytelling and about the nature of storytelling, because if it weren't for telling the story of, I don't know, Camille Martin, or of, all the stories that we've encountered, the Monoperro stories, we wouldn't be affected and we wouldn't have any empathy for anything. So, what are the deeper structures of storytelling, and are they very different in a digital format from other linear formats or analog formats of storytelling? I think that would be a question that would be most at heart for me, not as so much an academic but as a filmmaker, because film is such a story-based medium that it's impossible to make a film without a story, and so it's something that I've been thinking about a lot. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So I really look forward to the following process. You can follow everything on the Streaming Egos blog and how we will take the next steps. Maybe I can pass you virtually a bit of our cookies. Not
Thank
for you,
I'm-
Martina. In your case, I think that won't help you. And I really hope we will have the next conversation, the next salon with you in real life, because I loved it that you have been there, but it would be even nicer if you would have been here. So that is for the next time. We hope you are well soon, and we'll do that again. So I thank you all, Enno, Martina, Peter, Bernadette, and I hope we all will leave tomorrow afternoon Düsseldorf inspired, as was said this morning, and leave you to the evening.
Yes. Just one more announcement. Thank you.
Yes. No.
I was asked to make one more announcement, which is at 6:45 there will be another performance of the firewall.
The firewall and the drone.
Outside of the building in 45 minutes, and thank you all for coming.
Yes, thanks.
And there are other things to say. Welche anderen Sachen? Sie meinen morgen?
Moment. There are always
Also
things
von
to
18 bis
say.
19:30 Uhr? Aber ich dachte,
Nee, das ist ausgefallen.
das ist ausgefallen. Ja, ist ausgefallen. Ja. Ja, das ist ausgefallen, weil
Everything is in process. Life is permanent better. Gunnar,
So
I
there's-
didn't ask you whether you have a question. Oh, sorry.
Okay. So
You would have had.
I guess Marieke de Rova, the Belgian performance artist, wasn't able to come, as far as I understand. But there's still going to be a mobile performance, extremely local, nostalgic for reality, and the video installation artist is present. And yes, can you say it, because I don't know? Thank you.
I'm sorry. As far as I know, so the Belgian performance cannot take part, but the video installation artist is present, is going on, and also the interventions and the exhibition ego updates by the students will happen. So you are invited to stroll around here or downstairs and see the fire performance and the rest. Okay, thanks.
Danke. Danke.